Thanks for tuning in and welcome to your Cairns Real Estate Market Update for March 2025. I thought we might interrupt our usual programming in favour of a very timely conversation on a topic that is hot on everybody's lips, and that is the interest rates at the moment and what is their predicted effect on real estate prices and asset classes. Let's jump straight in. If you were to go out onto the street and ask 100 people as to what they thought was on the cards post an interest rate reduction, 99% of them would probably tell you that it would mean that asset prices, real estate values would increase, and they'd all be wrong. Now, it makes sense to think that that is what would happen. It's logical to do so because, of course, with the reduction in interest rates comes an increase in buyers' spending capacity. It also means debt is that little bit cheaper, so it's logical to think that prices would go up. But if we look back at the data, look what's happened historically, the inverse is actually true. What we can see is that property prices, asset classes, there's a bit of a lag, but they trend exactly the same. If we jump on here onto our graph, we have the RBA's interest rate target for the last 35 years. On the right-hand side, we've got this great big sharp increase of interest rates. Now, this is from the very first interest rate increase post-COVID in May of 2022 up until today. If you look at the Cairns real estate market, let's have a look at Cairns City Apartments. It's a terrific microcosm of the market in Cairns at large because it has high-end multi-million-dollar properties all the way down to small little $180,000 investment apartments as well. Great big spread as to the market at large. Cairns City Apartments started with a median value of $380,000 in just after COVID. And over 4 years, from January 2021 to January 2025, they've increased by 40% and come up to circa 500,000. In that time, the most condensed price growth that we've ever seen historically ever was also the sharpest increase in interest rates that we've seen nationally ever. And you've all seen in the news just how starkly property prices have also increased in that time post-COVID. Interestingly enough, interest rates have also increased and risen almost directly proportionate to that. Coincidence? I don't think so. But we've been here before. Let's have a look at some previous two cycles where the markets have actually reduced in line with interest rate reductions as well. In the middle of the page here, we've got this big sharp drop just before 2010. Now, this was around GFC period, which is 07, 08, and 09, where we had interest rates of 7.25% that were cut nearly overnight down to 3%. In that time, what happened to real estate prices and asset prices, not just in Cairns, but Australia-wide? We got smashed. And Cairns alone, we took 13 years to recover all of that price growth before there was any kind of additional market cycle. We have a look over to the left as well. We've got this stagnant period of, mostly stagnant or stable period of interest rates. If we look at Brisbane prices in this time, the capital city of Queensland, there was nearly no growth in that period. Coincidentally, interest rates and property prices were all pretty well stable. And finally, on the far left-hand side, we've got this enormous drop of interest rates from 17% all the way down to about 5%. So what happened in 1990? Well, that was actually the second most recent significant recession that we'd seen nationally, the 1990 recession that you see over here. Now, the beauty of modern day technology is we have access to all of this data at our fingertips. You can find economic data for the last 140 years right there. And while previous historic performance is not a predictor of future performance, it's the best and the most reliable indicator that we have as to what is likely to happen. If we look at the data alone, this tells us that the single best time to pile into asset classes and to buy as many investments as you can is actually the very start of the rate cycle. And the very best time to offload those investments, going by the data of course, is actually at that top of the rate cycle once they make that very first cut, because there's still some momentum in the marketplace and the market is yet to correct. I hope there was some gold nuggets in there for you. I hope it's maybe lifted a veil as to all of the noise out there. I'm Tim from Toomey Schreiber Property Group. If you have any questions and would like to discuss this further, if you think I'm wrong, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you next month.